All right, recap what we did last week with market clearing price. This is the graph that you should have drawn from the question. Price over here, quantity down here, all right? And let's start with this. Let's assume that this one's not even here. Okay? And what we started talking about demand last week, and we said if there are any economists out there, I know this won't fly, this isn't exactly right, but for all intents and purposes, this is good for you. This shows the want for the item. Now, technically, that's not right, but it helps you to understand it. This shows you how much they want this item. All right, and what it shows at $3, the quantity demanded is 50. At $2, the quantity demanded is 100, and at $1, the quantity demanded is 150. So if I ask you how much is the demand for this item, or how much do they want this, you can't give me a specific number. You have to give me all of that information, and that's why we draw the demand curve. All right, then we stopped talking about demand for a couple days, and we talked about supply. So imagine that's not there. And we drew the supply curves, right? And we said at $1, the quantity demanded or supplied was 50. And when you raise the price to $2, the quantity supplied was 100. All right? That's a more difficult concept for people to understand. The demand part, you understand. The law of demand said what? As the price goes up, what happens?
Quantity demand.
Quantity demanded goes down. You understand that, right? Price goes up, people buy less of it. This one's a little harder. When the price goes up, the quantity supplied goes up. All right? Why is that? When you go from $1 to $2, if you can sell it for $1 more, well, that increased price is going to offset a lot of things for you trying to be the seller. You'll be able to hire worse employees. Okay? You'll be able to get worse resources, but still make a profit. Okay? Remember we said, imagine that the price was $1,000. You might even hire that guy, right? Look how bad he is. But you'd hire him because you can still make a profit, even with that kind of guy working, right? No, I'm just picking on you, right? All right. So, but that's the point. When the price goes up, you might even open up another store to supply more. So when the price goes up, the quantity supplied goes up. And then what we do is this. You put the two curves together, and you get supply and demand. And what this shows you is this. At $2, the point on the demand curve is 100. Remember, demand goes down, right? Demand goes down, and the it goes up. The supply line goes up, all right? Got to make sure that you remember that. So supply and demand know which way the curves go. So at $2, this is the perfect price. It's called the equilibrium because everything's equal, right? The quantity demanded and quantity supplied are both 100. It's also called the market clearing price because it clears the market. You have no extra buyers and no extra sellers. You have just as many buyers as sellers. Clears the markets. Right? That's the perfect price, how prices are determined. Now let's say you sell it for the wrong price. You make a mistake. All right? Let's say you decide to sell it for $1. All right? What happens? Well, let's flash back a minute. Remember, we started talking about gas prices, right? We started talking about gas prices were going down because of all the fracking and they find the oil fields in the Midwest and stuff like that, and the prices went down. And like 2 weeks ago, prices were at what? Like $1.95, right? They were really low. Now they're at like $2.10. What's the difference? Probably what happened was we went all the way down to $1.95 just like this. This was too low. The price was too low at that point. And what happened was the quantity is the supply or demand. That's supply. It's the supply line because it's going up, up, goes up, supply line. So the quantity supplied, 50. Quantity demanded, 150. All right? Do you have too much stuff or not enough? Say again? Not enough. 150 is the number of customers, 50 items. You're short. So that's a shortage by 100 items. Right? And that's essentially what was happening with the gas. It was 50,000 was supplied, 150,000 was demanded, so they were short. So what they do, they raise the price, right? And they try to get it to that equilibrium point. So my prediction is that those gas prices will stay like that for a little while now, all right? But this is our example of what happens when the price is too low. Price is too low, it's going to cause a shortage. Imagine if Super Bowl just happened a few weeks ago. What if they would have sold Super Bowl tickets for $1 each? You said, shh, what's that mean? What does it mean? What would have happened?
Probably on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, everybody would have wanted to go. So if the demand goes up, but you don't have enough seats, you don't have enough tickets, what do you have to do? Raise the price till you find that equilibrium, that balancing point, that market clearing price. Okay? Nobody in here was in the market for Super Bowl tickets because you couldn't afford it. All right? That took you out of the market, and that's what they try to do with that. All right? Okay. So if you understand that, you should be able to answer these questions. On your whiteboards, what answer number 1 for me, please? Right, number 1. During a 6-month period, price of a popular shoe rises from $28 to $39. Whose was this? All right. During that same period, what happens to the quantity demanded? Hold them up. Let me see them. Good. Mostly B's, couple A's. So we're at least narrowed it down to that. But what are we talking about? If the price goes up, will the quantity demanded go up? Will more people buy it? No, it's not going to happen. When the price goes up, the quantity will go down, so it's decrease. All right, so it should be B. Number 2 on the whiteboard, put it down there. Which of the following is the best example of the law of supply? That first one is the law of demand, essentially. That's another way to look at it. Second one for law of supply. We are 100% correct. Good job. Everybody knows that that is an example of law of supply. Price goes up, quantity supply goes up. Piece of cake. Third one. What condition has been reached when buyers purchase exactly as much as sellers are willing to sell? A, B, or C? Throw it on the whiteboard. Let me see. C's and D's are the answers that we have. D is not correct. Let's talk about that. We will do a lot more with price floors and price ceilings in the future. But just so you know, a price floor is the lowest that you can sell an item for. You can't go any lower than the floor. We'll talk about that in a few days. All right. So they might say you can't sell it for any less than $5. That's as low as you can go. Not equilibrium. Okay, not market clearing. All right. What we're talking about when the same number of buyers is exactly the same as the sellers, the only point on that graph is right there. That's where you have the same number: 200 buyers, 200 sellers, 200 items for sale. All right. That is equilibrium, or what's the other term for equilibrium price?
Market clearing.
Market clearing price, what we call it. Okay, good. Last one, put on the whiteboard. No, the second line over here. Shortage will develop when? Put that one down. We got 2 more under there. A shortage will occur when? Yep, nicely done. Good job. Shortage occurs because the price is below the equilibrium point. It's too cheap, so you're going to be short. Look at it on the graph. If they charge $2 for this item, here's which line is this? It's going up, so it's the supply line. So at $2, the quantity supplied is 50, but the quantity demanded, here's your demand line, is 300. You have 300 customers, 50 items, okay, you're short. All right, so a shortage develops below the equilibrium point. All right, last 2 questions. All right, basically, the 5th question asks you, what's the equilibrium price? What's the market clearing price? All right, they say students are publishing an annual literary magazine at their school. How many copies should they print, and what price should they charge for each copy? Let me see what you got. Bravo, golf clap for you guys. Good job. Okay, right here at $4, all right, and 200 copies is letter B. That's the perfect price, the equilibrium market clearing. All right, and then last one. Okay, be impressed if you guys can get that one. That's a little bit tougher. All right, suppose the market for the magazines is in equilibrium. Some students insist on raising the cover price by $1 and printing the same quantity. What is likely to happen? A, B, C, or D? Take your guesses. Everybody put something down because you have a 25% chance of getting it right. Unless you put E. Mostly correct answers, but let's go over the incorrect ones, okay? The demand for the magazine will go up. Okay? That's not a change in demand. We said that demand, and what other word can we use for demand? The what? The curve. All right, we're not talking about the curve moving. Everything's staying on this curve, so it's not that one. There will be a shortage of 150 magazines. Well, let's take a look and see what's happening on this graph then. All right, if you look here, we're saying here's the equilibrium point. All right, right there where my finger is the equilibrium point, and it says you raise the price $1 but keep the same quantity. Quantity still at 200. The $5, the quantity demanded will be 100. 100 customers, 200 magazines, right? At $5, 100 customers, but 200 magazines. So if that's the case, okay, there's not going to be a shortage of 150 magazines. We have 200 magazines to sell and 100 customers. The surplus of 100 magazines, that's what you have. Right? The most common incorrect answer is D. The surplus will be greater than the sales. All right? What did we say the surplus was? How much is it? Yeah, 100. All right? How much will you sell? If you have 100 customers and 200 magazines, how many will you sell? 100. That's all you can sell. That's the same. So it's not going to be that one. All right? Any questions on that? We have a little bit more practice, and then we're going to move into round 2. We'll start changing the demand a little bit.